Let me welcome on board Manoj Raghavan, the CEO and MD at Tata Elxsi, joining in the show right now. Manoj, hi, good morning. Good to have you on the show. Hope all things well with you and the entire Tata Elxsi family.
Yeah, thank you, Aisha, and a very warm, good morning to your viewers. Yes, things are pretty okay here down in Bangalore. Looking forward to some normality in the coming months.
Sure. Talking about normality, Manoj, just wanted to understand what are the trends in technology right now? Have things taken a drastic turn from March 2020 when the pandemic broke out to now? And if you could give some color on what the future visibility is looking like in terms of purely trends in technology.
Yeah, so with the pandemic coming in, right, and there's the entire shift to work from home. Digital technologies have become so much more important, whether in the various sectors that we are in, right? So whether if you look at home entertainment, a lot more people viewing OTT channels. Whether if you look at the healthcare or medical space, telemedicine was literally non-existent, right? Or very few people, even in the West, hardly 5-10% of the patients used to use telemedicine. Right now, it is upwards of 80%. Even in India, you see adoption of telemedicine going leaps and bounds, right? So many of those technologies which were there but were not adopted are now being adopted thanks to COVID. So definitely we see a lot of trend in technology adoption. The entire smart digital, whether it is home, whether it is office spaces, whether it is factories, they're all moving entirely smart and digital way, and I think that is a good opportunity for companies like us.
Sure. Manoj, you have a large presence across verticals, everything from aerospace to consumer software, but you're largely focused on media, auto, and healthcare. Are you looking to increase your footprint or stay focused to these particular verticals because they've worked well for you?
Yeah, we're not a large company. We are a mid-sized company, so it is important for us to be focused. We cannot operate in all industry verticals. So the focus for us is primarily 3 industry verticals, which is the transportation business, primarily the automotive business, the media and communication business, and the medical and healthcare business. We are not in the aerospace business.
Well, yeah, that's for sure. Tata Elxsi does have differentiated capabilities. It would not be entirely right to call it, a regular IT company. Hi, Manoj. This is Mubina as well joining in. And yeah, I think the fact is that you made your investors happy. The last 1 year you've delivered, performance-wise, stock return-wise as well, something very rewarding for investors. Let's talk about the deal wins during Q1. What were the deal wins you saw? What's the pipeline like? And I'm interested in knowing which sectors as well did you see the most deal wins from?
Okay, so we've had deal wins and across our verticals, right, including the medical, the media vertical, as well as the automotive, the transportation vertical. In the medical vertical, we had a large, healthcare provider based in the US selecting Tata Elxsi for their digital, next generation digital health platform development, and that's a pretty large deal, multi-million dollar deal over multi-year deal. So that is a pretty significant deal for us. In the automotive space, we've engaged deeply with a global OEM on their EV development. Similarly, we've also had a tier 1 supplier select Tata Elxsi for the EV platform development. In the media and communication space, we've had it's a very interesting place because that a lot of traditional companies that have content, whether it is theaters or plays or musicals and so on, because of COVID, they've not been able to conduct many of these events. and they did not have a digital strategy at all. So there is one leading organization in the world where we really supported and helped them get into the digital platform, right? So their entire digital transformation strategy, development, based on the OTT solution that we have developed, right? We actually licensed that solution, and then we're building out that solution for them. So helping companies like that, get into the digital, arena, right? So that has been, a very positive, development for us. We've also, won a deal with a consumer, appliance company, again for the digital center of excellence for their next generations, connected and smart appliances, right? So and as I said, right, the entire digital play is playing across the various industry sectors that we are in, and I think that has been a positive, and we had invested in all these technologies, over the last 4-5 years, and I think it's all coming together nicely for us now.
Manoj, do you by any chance see any sort of risk that client budgets towards R&D, towards investments in tech, which of course in turn then is diverted to you, would be trimmed given the fact that we've just come off from the second wave? There's that looming threat of the third wave. Do you see any possibility or risk of that? I know that there's been solid growth from your top 5 or 10 client accounts, but do you see that maybe from the other accounts, or perhaps even from these top 10 accounts, there could be a decrease in the budget allocation towards R&D?
Yes, ER&D is usually discretionary, right? If things go south, if there is a massive wave 3, and there are disruptions, for our customers, there is a possibility that we could see a cut in the R&D spend and so on, and we have seen that, right, over the last couple of years. Also, we have seen many of our customers, go through that. Again, it depends on the sectors and industries that we are in, and if you look at the media and entertainment industry, I don't think we will have a cut because that industry is booming. I feel the same on the medical, the healthcare space. I think the spend will continue to increase. On the transportation, on the automotive sector, things are improving, and we have shown growth, over the last 2 quarters. But it's still a small growth, and we would want to wait and watch on that particular sector. And that could be some impact, but it's very difficult to predict right now.
Fair point. If I look at, let's say, the medical industry or the car industry, automation is increasing. So can I easily say the big picture that when there is growth in these 2 industries, your business will continue to grow? I mean, is it as simple as I'm trying to make it sound?
Yeah, see, it's not just about growth in the industry, right? It's about transformation in industry to more digital, product development and usage of digital tools and so on, right? More connected, more digital transformation. These are all, what do you say? This would result in, increased business for companies like us.
When will the base effect for Tata Elxsi kick in? Last couple of years have been exponential growth for Tata Elxsi. Transformation has happened. I must compliment you on the good work and the kind of shareholder return Tata Elxsi has given to the shareholders. But there would be a point in time where competition and the base effect, they both would kick in.
Yes, it is not as if we don't have competition, and competition is very fierce. It's not just Indian companies, it's global companies. So yes, I mean, again, we're not a very large company, so I just hope we will be able to continue to execute our strategies, and our thought process is really in these 3 industry verticals that we are in. We need to be the best, right? We need to really build very, very strong capabilities, and customers, work with us because of the value that we generate for them, because of the value that we deliver for them, right? It is not about price, or it is not about the cheapest, and so on and so forth, right? So as long as we deliver the value, as long as we continue to execute our strategies well, and maintain the customer relationships and so on, and hopefully there is no industry downturn or any particular sector weakening, or any particular company, right, going through a tough time, right? So if these don't happen, then I think we hope to continue to execute on our plans and grow, right? Whether we'll maintain the growth rate, whether we will be able to accelerate, these are all difficult to say at this point in time, but we definitely expect to grow at a much faster rate than the average industry growth.
So how will the next 3 years be different from the last 3 years?
There are a number of things internally that we are looking at, right? While we look at these 3 industry verticals, we very clearly would also want to de-risk ourselves. So there are new industry verticals that we're looking at it. At the same time, we're also looking at adjacencies within these 3 industry verticals, right? So, and that's where we are really investing at this point in time, building capabilities, as well as building the sales muscle and the pipeline and so on. So yes, we will continue to focus on these 3 verticals, but there will be adjacencies which utilize the same skills, so to be able to deliver value to adjacent industry spectrums and so on. So that's something that we will focus on, and we hope that will lead us to our 3-year goals that we have set for ourselves.
Manoj, especially after the pandemic, just all focus has now been on healthcare. And given that you've already seen a good growth in this particular vertical, just wanted to understand what are the trends and disruptions that you foresee in the next 5 to 10 years, and how large this vertical is bound to be for you?
Yeah, so the medical and healthcare companies, typically, they do take a lot of time to decide, and the sales cycle is pretty long, right? So you need to build rapport with customers, and this sector in general is a little slow to adapt technology and so on. We still see a lot of companies using very old technology. So what COVID and this entire digital disruption has brought about is many of these companies are now aggressively looking to upgrade their technologies. A lot of connected technologies are coming into play. Cybersecurity is becoming very important, because suddenly you have a lot of information and patient-related information, and in general, privacy across the world is becoming a big issue. So these are some of the trends that we would see playing, and we actually are building capabilities in all the space, right? So yes, I would see definitely over the 3 to 5 years. There'll be a lot of spend on technology by the medical devices companies. Of course, there is this entire healthcare space, this entire hospitalization, the entire push towards using telemedicine, using digital devices. So that is also a trend that we hope that we will be able to leverage, and we'll be able to participate in.
Sure. Manoj, great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking with us today.
Thank you so much.